Ah, great. This place always has cheap cars. It's cool. Good morning, 819S. It is 9:13. It is May 11th, 2025. I think it's day 19 of my live streaming of my and it's going. I'm not 100% sure, but what may be happening is I need to let the live stream link connect before I start moving. So I clicked go live, I saw the camera flashing live, and then on my app it wasn't live yet. There was seemed like a big old delay, like 7 or 8 seconds. And then once it went live, I decided to start moving. So moving forward, that's what I'm gonna have to do. I'm gonna have to make sure the link is completely established before I start riding. So some people may know there's something going on called the Osaka Expo this year. If you're not familiar, it's basically the World Expo that used to happen in a lot of different countries in the past. And this year it's taking place in Japan, in Osaka. They spent years preparing a place, I believe it's called Yumeshima Dream Island, to set up the pavilions and places for people to visit. And this year in the Japan pavilion, I don't know the exact detail, but in the Japan pavilion they have a prototype of a Kawasaki futuristic vehicle. It seems pretty interesting. It is basically a four-legged vehicle that can be ridden like a horse. Kawasaki is calling it Corleo, C-O-R-L-E-O, Corleo. It looks like it's meant to be the cross between a horse and a motorcycle. I think that's a little bit of a strange connection, but I do see the idea of riding some kind of a sports event going on today, a baseball game. Cross between riding, I mean, when you're sitting on a horse, you're basically straddling the horse. When you're sitting on a motorcycle, you're basically straddling the motorcycle, right? So there's a similarity in that sense. And the advertisements, the commercials they made for it, were basically showing it going through rocky terrain, places without roads, places that would be normally treacherous or impossible to pass with an ordinary vehicle. I think some of the places where even like if you're a great enduro rider, you probably would still have trouble getting through some of those locations. I am not sure if that's something that I would want, and I've even been thinking I'm not sure if that's something that would catch on. I think people already fear motorcycles with 2 wheels. I don't know how much stability 4 legs would have. Theoretically, it could be a little bit better balanced because you can balance side to side and front and back. If you haven't seen it yet, kind of picture the Boston Dynamics dog robots, but with a seat that you can ride on. If you haven't seen the video for it, it's definitely worth checking out. If you go to Google and just search Corleo, there's definitely some information about it online. And there's a few other unique things about the Corleo that I think is, I don't know, strange and interesting. One thing is It's meant to be released in 2050, if I'm not mistaken. That's a really long way away. I feel like other companies are probably going to latch onto this idea if they think it's viable, and they may have a product before 2050. So hopefully Kawasaki's got a good plan or a good roadmap. Otherwise, I have a feeling other companies may end up kind of emulating what they're trying to do and having a product to market beforehand. The other one is the powertrain, and that is, I think, a little surprising from what I read so far. Go, buddy, go, go, go. From what I read so far, it's gonna be this guy too. Man, what is going on? Hydrogen-powered two-stroke engine that creates electricity to power all of the electrical devices on board. I think the legs would move by motors or actuators, not through gasoline power or through fossil fuel power. And the idea of them making a hydrogen two-stroke is pretty unique, I think. Hydrogen seems to be, hydrogen ICE engines or hydrogen internal combustion engines seem to be something that a lot of the companies in Japan are pursuing. I think the Toyota, what is it, 1690 has a kind of idea of what Japan is thinking. If you haven't seen that, Toyota's 1690 is basically the resources and the resources, the rare earth minerals and things like that that are required to make one EV can be used to make 6 hybrid, plug-in hybrid, is that the right word, or 90 standard hybrids. So as far as a resource allocation or efficiency point of view, I think that a lot of Japanese manufacturers and engineers think that pursuing pure EV is not going to be the future. So hydrogen, there are already hydrogen fueling stations all around this area. There's one near my house that I believe is mainly for buses, because there's some hydrogen powered buses that are run. Some of these are natural gas, some of them are hydrogen, some of them are just gasoline, some of them are diesel. I think it really depends on the company. I think they've been experimenting with different types of. There's also the Toyota Mirai. Mirai is a hydrogen powered vehicle that uses a fuel cell technology. The hydrogen goes through a membrane to create electricity. It's not burned, it passes through a membrane. I think those ideas are, interesting, unique. Oh, what is that like? These guys both have pink plates. Wow, CBX 10? That look like a TL maybe? Yeah, 125s are definitely fun. Economical, light, small, fast enough to enjoy the streets. Anyways, getting back to the main topic. It seems like they're pursuing hydrogen in Japan because they feel like resource allocation and resource management would benefit hybrid type vehicles. And I think the world has decided fossil fuels in the form of like petroleum and gasoline are not going to be the future, right? So hydrogen is a clean burning alternative. A lot of the makers are working on a 4-stroke style hydrogen burning vehicles. I believe Toyota has some that are under development. I think Honda also has some. I think a few different makers have some. So it'll be interesting to see what happens in the future. Oh, excuse me. Okay, just making sure that my my sound is working too. Yeah. Two-stroke also is interesting because I think a lot of the bike makers had two-stroke engines back in the day because the two-stroke because it makes power every other stroke or every stroke. It creates more potential for energy or more potential for power. And if it's burning a cleaner fuel like hydrogen and creating more power, I feel like it could be more efficient. I don't know what they're doing to handle the oiling or lubrication side of it, because I think the two-stroke traditionally needed a oil mixed with the fuel in order to provide lubrication for the piston and the bearings. I'm sure they have engineers working on that. I can see an oil-based bottom end, but I still don't know what they would do with the top end. I think piston rings are going to have to be lubricated somehow. But if what I read is true and they're working on a hydrogen two-stroke, that's definitely unique. So tell me in the comments or in the chat, would you want to ride a horse motorcycle hybrid, a cross between a horse and a motorcycle? I can see it being really fun if you're in the mountains, if you're going off-road, if you're in the countryside. I feel like it would be kind of annoying if you're in the city, especially in Tokyo. I also see the max speed would be up to 100 kilometers per hour. Sorry, was it 100 kilometers or 100 miles? Actually, I think it might have been 100 miles. Oh. Bad Puzo. 100 miles per hour seems kind of terrifying, even with tires on the ground. You have 4 tires with a really huge contact patch on a car, so going from 100 miles per hour down to 0 is pretty efficient, I think. Disc brakes, anti-lock system, large contact patches and so on. Bikes, you have a smaller contact patch, but you also have lighter weight. Getting from 100 to 0 is 100 miles per hour to 0 is a little scarier if it's an emergency. I would think if you have 4 legs trying to slow down from 100 miles per hour to 0, I can't see how it would work. I mean, how do horses stop from high speed to slow? I think basically you have to slow the gait, slow the gallop, and then at that point you can stop. But I think as far as emergency braking goes, going from that high speed down to nothing, oh man, doesn't seem like something I would want to experience regularly. Even going off-road, I don't think I've ever been up to 100 kilometers per hour off-road. 100 miles per hour would be like, what, 160 kilometers or something like that? 160 kilometers per hour off-road and then slamming on the brakes because you need to stop. That sounds terrifying to me. So I think the ultimate top speed is an interesting idea, but I have a feeling they're not building it to expect users to do that very often. the weather forecast had said it was going to rain most of the day. I'm happy that the rain is gone. I was actually planning on going to the riverside to have a or two of us know that. I'm not sure if the third one does. I have to verify that today, but yeah, maybe we could have a campfire tonight if we really wanted to, but I don't know if it's worth rescheduling or not. In one respect, if it's raining, it puts the campfire out for us so we don't have as much to worry about, but in another respect, we don't want to catch a cold, get rained. Just a dude hanging out on his bike there? Or a chick hanging out on her bike? I'm not sure if that was clothes laid out to be a person or if there was actually a person there. Alright, looks like I got another one in the cam. That's great. I'm glad that connection was stable, and I think I figured something out today that's important. So for anyone who watched, thank you so much for watching. If you can, leave a comment down below, and yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Drive safe.